everybody, this is Tom with The Board Gamer. Today, we're going to do a quick overview and review for this game. If you want the full how-to, go ahead and click this icon up here or the link in the description. Now let's get into it. Reef is a 2 to 4 player game for ages 8 and up, with an average gameplay length of 30 to 45 minutes, published by Next Move Games. The basic overview of Reef has players taking turns doing one of two actions. Players can either draw a card or play a card. When playing a card, you will collect and place the coral pieces displayed on the top half of the card onto your player board, and if possible, score based on the bottom half of the card. Continue until one type of coral supply is empty. Finish the round and score any remaining cards in hand. The player with the most points wins. When I first opened the box for Reef, I thought to myself, oh no, did I just buy a kid's game? I continued to worry as I set up the game and read through the rules. But after my first two turns, I noticed the game began to pull me in and I no longer felt like I was playing a kid's game. The excitement of which card to play for coral pieces and which card to save to score began to bubble up. And now my wheels are turning. Only the topmost coral color matters when scoring, so you have to decide either to expand or cover up existing corals. This adds to the strategy in this game. But is that enough to keep you going long term? Let's dive in and see what we encounter in Reef. I mentioned earlier how this game had a kid's game feel, and the main reason is the components. These large plastic coral pieces look more like barnacle coral than the more flowery looking coral that I'm used to seeing. These large pieces with little detail made it feel more for kids than adults. But since they do not have a lot of detail and are made of a hard plastic, they are quite durable. The cardboard player boards have a nice undersea design, and the point tokens and cards are nothing special. They are more functional than flashy. Basically, the game components are more durable, making it a game you can start kids on and hopefully keep for a very long time. Reef is one of the easier games to learn and play, other than a few things to keep in mind when scoring. For example, each pattern of coral cannot have shared pieces when scoring. This opens up Reef to be a game that you can bring to family events with a wide range of age groups, or as a new filler game for game night that everyone can pick up very quickly. The downside of being easy to play and learn, you might not find it as challenging, if that is what you're looking for in a game. Personally, I like having around many different types of games, so having a game around that is simple but entertaining is always a welcome addition to my collection. Reef surprised me with the amount of strategy it had. Every card in hand is either a building block to fill your board or a scorecard. And if you're lucky, they can work as both. Every time you play a card, you can score off of it, but only if you have the matching requirements. Determining when to play a card to score is half the game. Luckily, or unfortunately, depending upon where you fall on this topic, but since players cannot affect each other's boards, you don't have a lot of randomness, which brings down the luck factor. The only place luck remains in the game is in the draw pile and display area. And I suppose with your hand limit of 4 cards, it will happen at least once per game when you're scoring a card. The next card in the draw pile would have helped you score more points. But don't worry, the same will happen to your opponents. I can see Reef being replayed often as a filler game between larger games, at least for me. If you have kids though, I think this would be a decent game in order to introduce more strategy-filled games, at least with the hand management and delayed gratification. That is not saying you will not want to continue playing this game if you are not a kid. I just think kids will get the most out of this game. I will continue to enjoy it, but not as a main game. It'll be a palate cleanser game. This is a game I would grab to relax and play. Now, in discussing Reef's theme and emotional connection, I think it falls a little short. I can see the concept, and I can see it being implemented the best it can be while making it accessible. Another hobby of mine is fish keeping. I have a couple tanks, but nothing saltwater. I don't think I have the talent for that. But reefs, coral, and all that live around them interest me, which is why I gravitated towards Reef. The theme tries, and I have to give it credit for that. And like I said, I have an emotional connection to the theme, but not so much to the game. If I was new to the hobby or wanted to get more people into the hobby, I could see this being one of those first few games I would use. But to pull and play, I might pick out a game that is a bit more mentally stimulating. Bottom line, Reef is a decent game, but you need to determine if it's right for you. This board gamer says not boring for casual gamers, but tends to tread water for those who prefer more in-depth strategy games. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notified about new videos. If you're bored now, click this for more games.